Bungie have done it. They've finally released a 750 RPM SMG that manages to combine the lethality of a funnel web with the range and consistency of a Shiora's. Yes, you heard right, the new Ikelos SMG is something that both PvPers and PvEers should have at the very top of their list to chase this season. It's an SMG that has the same TTK of funnel web in the Crucible, a mind-bogglingly low 0.67 second TTK, but with even more range. And then add on top of that it's craftable with enhanced perks, and you'll quickly realize why this thing absolutely melts opponents in the Crucible. And for once, the origin trait of the weapon is actually very, very useful in PvP and can come clutch in those 1v2 or 1v3 scenarios. So 750 RPM SMGs actually have the same TTK as a 900 RPM SMG at just 0.67 seconds, and they only require 9 crits instead of 11 to achieve that. Up until now, 750 RPM SMGs didn't really have a perk pool that was suited for PvP, or they didn't have as good base stats, especially in the stability department. Like, if you look at the Unforgiven's perk pool here, there aren't the usual S tier PvP perks you would have on an SMG, like rangefinder, dynamic sway reduction, kill clip, tap the trigger. They're just not there within the perk pool. The Ikelos SMG has great stats within the 750 RPM family. It has more range, more aim assist, and way more stability than its compatriots when you compare it to things like the Extraordinary Rendition, the Unforgiven, or even the Taraba. I can't emphasize the stability difference enough. The Ikelos, from my experience, did not flinch anywhere near as much as some of the other 750s I've used in the past. And stability also affects how quickly your accuracy cone resets in size to prevent bloom, so not only did it feel like a laser, but my shots also felt much more reliable. Now, you may say that Extraordinary Rendition and Taraba have more zoom than the Ikelos, but because those options lack perks like rangefinder and they have less base range, the net effect was that the Ikelos actually felt more rangy. Now, if we compare the Ikelos to funnel web, the gold standard for legendary SMGs in PvP, you'll see at base the Ikelos has over half a meter of extra range, and because they both can get rangefinder, for once the 750 RPM SMG comes out on top on range. Step aside funnel web, I think we've got a new king for legendary SMGs. Now, the origin trait of the weapon, Rasputin's Arsenal, partially refills the magazine when you break an enemy's shield, and I'm very happy to say that this perk works in the Crucible. It comes in clutch in those 1v2 scenarios so often when you don't have time to reload in between engagements. You beam one person down, you get your magazine partially reloaded, and you go into your second engagement with enough bullets to kill the second person, which is so handy. It's definitely one of the best origin traits we've seen for PvP players. Let's look at the perks for the Ikelos, and remember, once you obtain 5 red borders, you can craft this thing and get access to enhanced perks, which takes this thing to the next level. So for your barrel, I'd highly recommend Hammerforged Rifling or Small Bore. Hammerforged Rifling is going to bump that range by 10, Small Bore will give a 7 range and a 7 stability bonus. For both MNK and Controller, I would not recommend Full Bore anymore, as you really lose out on stability, and 750 RPM SMGs have very little stability to begin with, so the recoil becomes uncontrollable with Full Bore. Now, for your magazine perk, you definitely want Accurized Rounds, which gives a 10 range bonus. Previously, I would have said Seraph rounds were goated, but they've had their range bonus nerfed, but they still are a very good second option in my eyes. They provide 3 range, 7 stability, increased flinch, ricochet rounds, and armor piercing rounds all in one perk, which are all very useful things to have in PvP. Now, for your first column of perks, there's actually quite a few good options for PvP here. You have Threat Detector, which increases stability, handling when enemies are near, and can stack up with multiple enemies. And this only gets better with enhanced perks, which greatly increases the stat bonuses. The only issue I have with Threat Detector is it only activates when you're within 15 meters of an enemy, and you'll often be dueling outside of 20 meters with this SMG, so you won't always receive the benefits. Killing Wind is a great option which provides more range, more mobility on a kill for 5 seconds, which can be extended even further. But if you guys know me, I'm not a huge fan of stat bonuses on a kill in PvP, especially when there's other perks in the column which give consistent stat bonuses without a kill requirement. Then the best 2 perks for me in the column are Perpetual Motion and Dynamic Sway Reduction. Perpetual Motion gives a stackable bonus for handling and stability for just moving around. If you're on MNK, you might lean towards this more, But if you're on controller, I definitely go for dynamic sway reduction, which ramps up both stability and accuracy as you shoot the gun for a maximum effect 0.6 seconds in shooting, which is very near the end of your 0.67 seconds TTK. So dynamic sway reduction is really going to be kicking in its maximum effect near the end of your duel when you're getting flinched the most, when your accuracy cone is at its widest. The great thing is dynamic sway only gets better with crafting as it ramps up even quicker with the enhanced version, so you'll start to get the benefits of this perk even quicker. In the final column, there are only 2 perks worth considering for PvP in my eyes. The first one, the obvious one, rangefinder, and this will really let it outrange the other top SMG options like funnel web. The second option I want to talk a little bit more about is tap the trigger. Now this provides a whopping 40 stability, less recoil, and a better accuracy cone for the first 0.6 seconds when you first start firing the weapon. Now this is going to synergize so well with dynamic sway reduction. When you first start firing the weapon, tap the trigger will provide massive bonuses, and then as you progress through the duel, DSR will start to kick in, especially beyond the 0.6 seconds part, and help to really stabilize weapon near the end of your duel. This is the combination you can see me using in the video, and for controller players especially, it makes the gun feel so consistent. Stability is the area where 750 RPM SMGs really lack, and with these 2 perks combined, it really makes up for the shortfalls of the weapon. And the weapon naturally has great range, so you're actually not missing out on too much. The enhanced version of tap the trigger greatly increases accuracy and stability, whereas for rangefinder, the enhanced version only gives you a 5 handling bonus. So when you craft the weapon, it only gets better with tap the trigger. So for me, the God-Roll Ikelos SMG is going to be hammerforged rifling, accurized rounds, dynamic sway reduction enhanced, rangefinder or tap the trigger enhanced with a range masterwork. This puts the gun at over 23 meters of range, or you can go roughly 22 meters of range with tap the trigger and receive even more stability and accuracy bonuses. It's a tough decision between the two, and it's going to come down to personal preference, but if you're looking for consistency and a bit more help with recoil, then I'd definitely opt for tap the trigger, especially if you're a controller based player. And with crafting and enhanced perks, the argument for tap the trigger becomes even stronger, as it provides more benefits than enhanced rangefinder. If you feel like you don't need that extra help controlling the recoil and managing flinch, then rangefinder will be the stronger option. I hope you enjoyed what I talked about today. This Ikelos SMG is going to be my new main SMG, replacing my funnel web and Shioras once I've crafted the God-Roll. With access to enhanced versions of great PvP perks and a great origin trait, this is one of the best SMGs you can get right now. And I haven't even touched on the PvE regards for this weapon, which is incredible with Volt Shot. Remember to like the video if you've enjoyed what I've talked about today, and subscribe to the channel for more Destiny PvP and PvE content as we go into this new season. I'm Mr. On It, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.